Welcome to our annual Memorial Day ceremony. In this year of uncertainty, it is a testament to our resiliency as a community that Mr. Kranz and Mr. Gunther put together this plan to assure that important events like this carry on even in unusual circumstances. A special thank you to Woodstown High School Junior Ben Horner for taking the time to coordinate the pieces of this puzzle for a video presentation. We'd like to also extend a special thank you to Woodstown Borough Councilman Glenn Merkel for his continuing efforts in making this celebration possible.
Troop, attention! Color guard, present colors. Color guard, forward. Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Troop, post colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good morning. My name's Charles Bender, retired Methodist minister. Served here in Woodstown 74 to 89, and there go the geese. With the situation we're in, there's a reference that goes back to 1918 to the Spanish flu. My father was born in 1899, so he was 18 in that year. The other thing about 18 years old for him was before he could graduate from high school, he was drafted and went into the service. And like many times this happens, he got a diploma. But every time I hear the business about the Spanish flu, I think of that. And as we gather today, it's another epidemic it marks the day, but it nonetheless calls us to be faithful in our honoring of those whose lives were given in the service of our country. Let us begin with a word of prayer. O God, as the children of your creation, we come to honor heroes who have given their lives for the preservation of what was gained by the service of others, prior generations of heroes. In these days when heroes are acknowledged for their willingness to risk all, the full measure given by the brothers and sisters in the battles of prior years who are lifted up this day, and to them we say thank you for your sacrifice. Along with them, we honor those family members who were forever marked by the loss of your life. God, grant us wisdom that we too may serve in honor. Amen.
This song is entitled Memorial Day, and it's written by Anthony Mullins for Memorial Day. Remember those departed this Memorial Day, those who stood tall with pride, the American way. When duty beckoned, they met the call. All gave some, but some gave all. Remember those brave warriors, place flags and be sure to pray. Those who fought for our freedom, shed blood for a brighter day. When duty beckoned, always stood tall. All gave some gave all. America the beautiful, may your flag always wave. Our country they protected, our future they helped save. True heroes, we honor our duty on this day. Remember all the fallen on this Memorial Day. Remember, read the markers, their memory won't fade away. Those who lived with true honor, a debt we can't repay. When duty beckoned, they did not stall. All gave some gave all. America the beautiful, may your flag always wave. Our country they protected, our future they helped save. True heroes, we honor our duty on this day. Remember all the fallen on this Memorial Day. True heroes, we honor our duty on this day. Remember all the fallen on this Memorial Day.
Okay, I apologize in advance for reading this speech. I'm not much of a public speaker. My name's Alfred Allman. I go by Al. Glenn has asked me to tell a little bit about myself and offer a few reflections on Memorial Day. I've been a resident of Woodstown nearly 30 years now. My family likes to say that we trace our military history back to the American Revolution, but we were on the losing side. I have no way of proving that. It's likely a tall tale. But I can say that I'm the third of 4 generations of Allmans to serve in the United States Armed Forces. My grandparents arrived here from England in 1912 with their 3 children. My father was 4 then, and my 2 aunts who were a few years older. My grandfather served in the Merchant Marine in World War II. His ship was torpedoed in the North Atlantic. He was rescued from the cold water, but he developed a pneumonia which proved fatal. My father also served in World War II as a chaplain in the Army. He was on Okinawa when the decision was made by Harry Truman to drop the first 2 and so far only atomic bombs to end the war. He always praised President Truman for that decision, which he credited with saving hundreds of thousands of American and Japanese lives, which would have been lost in any invasion of the Japanese homeland. Had there been an invasion, I might not have been a baby boomer myself, along with thousands of other kids never to have been born. I served in the Navy during the Vietnam conflict. The closest I got to the Far East was the Panama Canal Zone, where I spent most of my active service. The fourth generation of Ullmans is my son David, who is currently serving the Air Force and is even considering an opportunity to become a member of the Space Force. Space, the final frontier. Anyway, this is a Memorial Day to remember, as this year we find ourselves in a new World War of sorts. It's one for the history books. Years from now, people may ask, where were you on Memorial Day in 2020? And we can say, we weren't at Memorial Lake, we were at home. It's kind of like the day Kennedy was shot, or Neil Armstrong walked on the moon, or planes destroyed the Twin Towers. It will stick in your memory. So what is Memorial Day and why is it so special? It's not unique around the world. There are at least 63 other countries which have some sort of a Memorial Day. Here at home, we have three major holidays involving our military. We have Veterans Day on November 11th to honor all our veterans, Armed Forces Day on the fourth Saturday in May to honor our current active duty members, and Memorial Day to honor our deceased veterans. A little internet research shows that Memorial Day, originally called Decoration Day, is a result of the Civil War. The more than 500,000 soldiers of both sides who died in the Civil War meant that burial and memorialization took on a new cultural significance. In 1865, the federal government began creating the United States National Cemetery System before the Union War did. Memorial Day apparently had its origins on the Confederate side, as there are numerous accounts of wives and families of Confederate war dead decorating their graves even during the Civil War. A year after the war's end, in April 1866, 4 women from Columbus, Georgia gathered to decorate the graves of Confederate soldiers. They also felt moved to honor the Union soldiers buried there and to note the grief of their families by decorating their graves as well. The story of their gesture of humanity and reconciliation is held by some writers as the inspiration of the original Memorial Day, and they decorate graves of fallen soldiers with flowers. There's also some evidence that this event was observed and noted by the wife of Union General John A. Logan, who was the Commander-in-Chief of the Grand Army of the Republic, an organization of former Civil War veterans. On May 5th, 1868, General Logan issued a proclamation calling for Decoration Day to be observed annually and nationwide on May 30. With this proclamation, he adopted the Memorial Day practice that had begun in the southern states. The northern states quickly climbed aboard. In 1868, memorial events were held in 183 cemeteries in 27 states and 336 cemeteries in 1869. One author claims that the date was chosen because it was not the anniversary of any particular battle, but according to a White House address of 2010, the date was chosen as the optimal date for flowers to be in bloom in the north. Who knows? In the late 1860s, some Southern public figures began adding the label Confederate to their commemorations and claimed the Northerners had appropriated the holiday. The first official celebration of Confederate Memorial Day as a public holiday occurred in 1874, following a proclamation by the Georgia legislature. By 1890, there was a shift from the emphasis on honoring Confederate soldiers to a public commemoration of the Confederate South. Changes in the ceremony's hymns and speeches reflect an evolution of the ritual into a symbol of cultural renewal and conservatism in the South. By the 20th century, various memorial traditions celebrated on different days merged, and Memorial Day eventually extended to honor all Americans who died while in the military service. In 1913, there was a 4-day blue-gray reunion in Washington, D.C., which featured parades, reenactments, and speeches from a host of dignitaries, including President Woodrow Wilson, the first Southerner elected to the White House after the Civil War. This event set the stage for Decoration Day to evolve from a regional to a national holiday jointly shared by northern and southern states. The Memorial Day was first associated with Decoration Day in 1882, and gradually became more common than Decoration Day after World War II, but was not declared the official name by federal law until 1967. On June 28, 1968, Congress passed the Uniform Monday Holiday Act, which moved 4 holidays, including Memorial Day, from their traditional dates to specified Monday to create a convenient 3-day weekend, which we all appreciate. change moved Memorial Day from its traditional 30 date to the last Monday in May. Many people visit cemeteries and memorials on Memorial Day and honor those who died in military service. Many volunteers place an American flag on each grave in national cemeteries. They don't distinguish a veteran who died in combat or a veteran who died of old age. There are about 1 million Americans who died under arms to memorialize, and there will be more in the future. War is as old as Cain and Abel. As much as we wish and hope and pray for, there will be future American combat casualties. But I think it's appropriate on this day to honor all the deceased American veterans who survived their war but have now passed away. So now, who can we memorialize? Albert Henry Wilson was born on February 11, 1850. Died on August 2nd, 1956, the last veteran of the Civil War. Or Frank Buckles was born on February 1st, 1900, and died on February 27th, 2011, the last veteran of World War I. Nearly 16 million Americans served in World War II, and about 407,000 died in combat. Of those who survived the war, there are now about 300,000 remaining. The oldest of these is Lawrence Brooks, who was born September 2nd, 1909. He's going on 111, God bless him. The Veterans Administration projects that there will be 20 veterans still alive in 2040. So those few individuals have many more Memorial Days to honor their comrades for that war. That was our last war. Since then we've had conflicts, invasions, engagements, incursions, and military use of force. Now we have other Americans dead in service to the country, countless wounded in body and spirit. That was the last war of bombs and bullets. Now we have a new world war, one that nobody wanted or saw coming. It's a war against a disease. Its soldiers are all the medical personnel, the paramedics, the police, and firemen on the front lines. These are the draftees. And then we have all the essential workers supporting them, like the volunteers. Unfortunately, we may have some of their names memorialized next year. And among the collateral damage are the numerous veteran residents of nursing homes and elder communities who fought their way through World War II, and Korea, and even Vietnam, only to be struck down in their beds before their time. Let's pray for the dead and give thanks for the survivors, as they all helped us to continue to remember and celebrate this great American holiday.
This is a song entitled American Anthem, and it's by Norah Jones. And I first heard it when I saw the Ken Burns documentary on World War II, and Ken Burns and his crew wove this song into that documentary in a very beautiful way. So here it is, American Anthem.
Where freedom would endure, the work and prayers of centuries have brought us to this day. What shall be our legacy? What will our children say? Let them say of me, I was one who believed sharing the blessings that I received. Let me know in my heart when my days are through. America, America, I give my best to you. From the plains to distant shore, with the gifts they were given, were determined to leave more. Battles fought together, acts of conscience fought alone. are the seeds from which America has grown. Let them say of me, I was one who believed in sharing the blessings that I receive. Let me know in my heart when my days are through. America, America, I gave my best to those who may think they have nothing to share, who fear in their hearts there is no hero there. Know each quiet act of dignity is that which fortifies the soul of a nation that will never die. Let them say of me, I was one who believed in sharing the blessings that I receive. Let me know in my heart when my days are through. America, America, I gave my best to you. America, America, I gave my best to you.
I'm Jean Hefner-Jack. I live here in Woodstown. I've lived here for 50 years. Graduated from Woodstown High School in 1959, and I'm a member of the Women's Club, and we are so proud to be part of this celebration today. February 23rd, 1945. I was not yet 4 years old. I knew nothing of a small volcanic island 750 miles south of Tokyo, Japan. I knew my family, and perhaps I knew my parents had ration books that allowed them to buy clothing and food for my sister and me, but I doubt I even knew that. I mean, what would a child know? Europe and the Pacific were scenes of horror and death in World War II. Books were written, movies were made, music was composed, and photographs were taken to remind us of the devastation wreaked on our world by this terrible activity called war. One particularly outstanding example of devastation was the battle for that small volcanic island called Iwo Jima. This island served the Japanese military as a base for their planes to intercept American planes on the route to the mainland. The American military began bombing Iwo Jima in late 1944, and on February 19, 1945, American troops, mostly Marines, landed to take the island. Japan had denuded the island and built bunkers and tunnels for their forces, making the fighting extremely difficult. On February 23rd, Marines took control in the southern part of the island, planting the American flag on Mount Suribachi. photographer Joe Rosenthal was there and took one of the most iconic photographs of the war. You've seen this many times, I'm sure. Fighting continued on the north side of the island until March 25th. In the weeks-long battle for Iwo Jima, 6,821 Americans died and over 19,000 were wounded. In 1944, the Marine Corps dedicated the Marine Corps War Memorial, the largest bronze statue in the world, near Arlington Memorial Cemetery, to commemorate the Marines who died defending our country since 1775. One person has written about the remarkable experience he had when he visited that memorial near Arlington Cemetery. I'd like to read that for you now. Each year I am hired to go to Washington, D.C. with the 8th grade class from Clinton, Wisconsin, where I grew up, to videotape their trip. I greatly enjoy visiting our nation's capital, and each year I take some special memories back with me. This fall's trip was especially memorable. On the last night of our trip, we stopped at the Iwo Jima Memorial. This memorial is the largest bronze statue in the world and depicts one of the most famous photographs in history, that of the 6th grade soldiers raising the American flag at the top of a rocky hill on the island of Iwo Jima, Japan, during World War II. Over 100 students and chaperones piled off the buses and headed towards the memorial. I noticed a solitary figure at the base of the statue, and as I got closer, he asked me, "Where are you guys from?" I told him that we were from Wisconsin. "Hey, I'm a cheesehead too," he said. "Come, gather around, cheeseheads." And I will tell you a story. It was James Bradley, who just happened to be in Washington, D.C. to speak at the memorial the following day. He was there that night to say goodnight to his dad, who had passed away. He was just about to leave when he saw the buses pull up. I videotaped him as he spoke to us and received his permission to share what he said from my videotape. It's one thing to tour the incredible monuments filled with history in Washington, D.C., but it's quite another to get the kind of insight we received that night. When all had gathered around, he reverently began to speak, and these are his words that night. "My name is James Bradley, and I'm from Antigua, Wisconsin. My dad is on that statue, and I wrote a book called Flags of Our Fathers. It's the story of the 6 boys you see behind me. 6 boys raised the flag. The first guy putting the pole on the ground is Harlan Block. Harlan was an all-state football player. He enlisted in the Marine Corps with all the senior members of his football team. They were off to play another type of game, a game called war. But it didn't turn out to be a game. Harlan, at the age of 21, died with his intestines in his hands. I don't say that to gross you out. I said that because there are people who stand in front of this statue and talk about the glory of war. You guys need to know that most of the boys in Iwo Jima were 17, 18, and 19 years old, and it was so hard that the ones who did make it home never even would talk to their families about it. He pointed to the statue. You see this next guy? That's Renee Gagnon from New Hampshire. If you took Renee's helmet off at the moment this photo was taken and looked in the webbing of that helmet, you would find a photograph of his girlfriend Renee put in there for protection because he was scared. He was 18 years old. It was just boys who won the Battle of Iwo Jima. Boys, not old men. The next guy here, the third guy in this tableau, was Sergeant Mike Strang. Mike is my hero. He was the hero of all these guys. They called him the old man because he was so old. He was already 24. When Mike would motivate his boys in training camp, he didn't say, let's go kill some Japanese or let's die for our country. He knew he was talking to little boys. Instead, he would say, you do what I say, and I'll get you home to your mothers. The last guy on this side of the statue is Ira Hayes, a Pima Indian from Arizona. Ira Hayes was one of the ones who lived to walk off Iwo Jima. He went into the White House with my dad. President Truman told him, you're a hero. He told reporters, how can I feel like a hero when 250 of my buddies hit the island with me and only 27 of us walked off alive? So you take your class at school, 250 of you spending a year together, having fun, doing everything together. Then all 250 of you hit the beach, but only 27 of your classmates walk alive. That was Ira Hayes. He had images of horror in his mind. Ira Hayes carried the pain home with him and eventually died dead drunk, face down, in a very shallow puddle at the age of 32 years, 10 years after that photo was taken. The next guy going around the statue is Franklin Sousley from Hilltop, Kentucky, a fun-loving hillbilly boy. His best friend, who is now 70, told me, yeah, you know, we took 2 cows up on the porch of the Hilltop General Store. Then we strung wire across the stairs so the cows couldn't get down. Then we fed them Epsom salts. Those cows crapped all night. Yeah, he was a fun-loving hillbilly boy. Franklin died on Iwo Jima at the age of 19. When a telegram came to tell his mother that he was dead, it went to the Hilltop General Store. A barefoot boy ran that telegram up to his mother's farm. The neighbors could hear her scream all night and into the morning. Those neighbors were a quarter-mile away. The next guy, as we go around the statue, is my dad, John Bradley, from Antigua, Wisconsin, where I was raised. My dad lived until 1994, but he would never give interviews. When Walter Cronkite's producers or the New York Times would call, we were trained as little kids to say, no, I'm sorry, sir, my dad's not here. He's in Canada fishing. No, there's no phone there. No, we don't know when he's coming back. My dad never fished or even went to Canada. Usually he was sitting right there at the table eating his camel soup. But we had to tell the press he was out fishing. He didn't want to talk to the press. You see, like Ira Hayes, my dad didn't see himself as a hero. Everyone thinks these guys are heroes because they are in a photo and on a monument. My dad knew better. He was a medic. John Bradley from Wisconsin was a combat caregiver. In Iwo Jima, he probably held over 200 boys as they died. And when boys died on Iwo Jima, they writhed and screamed without any medication or help with the pain. When I was a little boy, my 3rd grade teacher told me that my dad was a hero. When I went home and told my dad that, he looked at me and said, I want you to always remember that the heroes of Iwo Jima are the guys who did not come back. Did not come back. So that's the story of 6 nice young boys. 3 died on Iwo Jima, and 3 came back as national heroes. Overall, 7,000 boys died on Iwo Jima in the worst battle in the history of the Marine Corps. My voice is giving out, so I will end here. Thank you for your time. Suddenly the monument wasn't just a big old piece of metal with a flag sticking out of the top. It came to life before our eyes with the heartfelt words of a son who did indeed have a father who was a hero. Maybe not a hero for the reasons most people would believe, but a hero nonetheless. Let us never forget, from the Revolutionary War to the current war on terrorism and all the wars in between, that sacrifice was made for our freedom. Please pray for our troops. Remember to praises for this great country of ours, and also please pray for our troops still in murderous places around the world. And remember, every day that you can wake up free, it's going to be a great day.
In special recognition to our fallen heroes, here's a list. Charles F. Pankos Jr., Harold Boldinghouse, Kenneth H. Clark, Harold L. Downs, Marshall L. Gathers Jr., Emmanuel Goldblatt, Emerson M. Riley, John Weimer, Oakford Bentley, Donald Bennett, Robert Quirk, Winfield Elwell, Charles H. Gentile, Russell G. Garrison, Marvin L. Watson, Larry G. Bell, John Atkins, Francis S. Rhodes, Robert Moore Jr., Tony H. Hughes, and Richard Evans.
Many years ago, when Memorial Day was rolling around, Ty Ayers would stand up in church and admonish us all that indeed we should be part of the celebration. We thank you for your participation today, even if it is electronically. But let us close with this word of prayer. Gracious Creator, in the words of this time, may we also make our commitments to those who are before us, that we might be more than we are, that we may become whatever is necessary to preserve the way of life for which our brothers and sisters died. Give us the vision to see the need. Give us the courage to commit to accomplishing that which is necessary as sacrifice for this nation in which we are privileged to live. We say this in the name of your Creator. Amen.
Attention! Color guard, present colors. Color guard, about face. Retired colors.